The eye gaze frame is a form of alternative communication some students with disabilities use to make choices, requests, and share information with adults and peers. In the book Don't We Already Do Inclusion, Paula Kluth notes that students who are learning to use augmentative and alternative communication, AAC, will develop the necessary skills faster through watching their peers model how to use the device.
For this reveal, we will be making an eye gaze frame to help with visual supports and communication. We will need a piece of plexiglass or thick lamination. This is 11 by 14, but you can size it however you wish. 4 bamboo sticks. You can also use popsicle sticks if you'd like. It's just something thick to secure the sides of the eye gaze frame. We need a ruler, an index card, Velcro dots, communication pictures, and our alphabet and other options for communication. As you'll notice, the pictures are similar on either side. So this is more of an elementary version, and this is more of a secondary version. And that's because when you do the eye gaze frame, the teacher should be able to see the choice on one side and the student on the other. Same thing with the alphabet. We have the same version on each side so that the teacher can see the reverse of what the student is seeing. We will need duct tape, a marker, and a razor blade. So we are going to attempt to draw a rectangle right in the middle so that we can cut that piece out. I'm going to use my marker to trace around the index card. So we're going to use our ruler to make sure that we get a clean cut. And it's much easier when you have something to lean up against. You cut about 3 times first on each side. It helps to really make the groove secure. Eye gaze piece where we can look through to see what choices the students are making. Now the center part can also be saved and recycled for something else. So we are going to set that aside and continue working on our frame. So now we have to have the bamboo sticks on each side of the frame to make it secure. One other option is to have an eye gaze frame that looks like this. So as you can see, it's the same on both sides so that when a student is selecting letter G, I can see G over here. So if a student looked here, I would say blue, and then they go to find the letter that correlates with blue. So if they're looking at spelling, say, cat, they would look at blue, and then they would look at the C, and I would say C. And if they're then trying to find the A, they would look at the yellow, and then look at this quadrant, and I would say A. And then if they're trying to find the T to spell cat, they would look down at the green, and then look at this quadrant for the T. And then if we're wanting to do a less complex eye gaze frame, we're just gonna do, say, 4 pictures. So I'm going to use the rough side of the Velcro on each corner, because what I found is that if you use a rough side on your pictures, then they end up sticking to clothing and rugs and things like that when they get lost. So I prefer using the rough side on the frame. We put our different choices on each corner of the frame. Another way to use the eye gaze frame is for testing. And you can also use this in other ways. If students are able to point to the answer, they could point at it, or it could also be just a visual tool to help students then communicate which answers they want. Thank you for joining us.